To think this human is an Otsutsuki descendant, after pouring chakra into a weird Fuuin in the Forbidden Scroll, something never seen before awakens in Naruto. Something which greatly pleases the Kyuubi. Hey everyone, I hope you're well. This is the story about what if Naruto had a dark Ootsutsuki Kekkei Genkai, and was Hamura's descendant. Before we start, please subscribe to the channel and like the video as well. So without any further ado, let's start the what if. Sweat was pouring from his hairline to his eyebrows as his eyes were scanning in rapid speed over the contents of the scroll in front of him. The scroll was huge and unclasped, it was surrounding him completely. Mizuki-sensei told him he had to learn something from the scroll and he was going to, definitely. He was going to impress his teacher, impress the entirety of Konoha. His eyes roamed over many techniques, but most required a very high chakra control, as in Jonin level. He wasn't even a genin. Gritting his teeth he continued on, in the hopes of finding something he could actually work with. Blinking, he caught an empty square covering part of the scroll from side to side. Above the square it said, "Awakening of the dormant, Kekkei Genkai reinforcement, pouring chakra into the area underneath might pull from the well of the unknown, but it almost surely might not. Large amount of chakra necessary. Will turn lethal if result failure." Naruto's eyes widened as he only truly read pour chakra in square and large amount of chakra. Oh yeah. Amount of chakra, huh? So a high chakra control isn't needed? I hope I have enough, Arika-sensei once said I might just have a whole lot. Enthusiastically, Naruto quickly put his hand down on the square and poured chakra into it. What followed was an eruption of red and blue chakra around the blonde boy. And then there was pain. So much pain. He wanted to scream, but he couldn't move his mouth, he couldn't move anything. He felt his jaw pop painfully, his arms burn, his legs felt like they were slowly being cut off by blunt scissors, and his head like it was being smashed into pulp by hammers. He couldn't even writhe around as his own chakra lifted him off the ground and held him in midair. His view slowly turned completely dark until he stood in front of a massive cage. Interesting, human. To think you have his blood running through your veins. You might just become someone of worth. He could comprehend the words so easily, but he couldn't talk back to the voice from behind the cage. His sight vanished again and he found himself back in the forest, with the scroll still all over the floor. The pain was no longer there and he could move his body again. Flexing his arms and kicking around a bit he came to the startling realization that he felt better than ever. Breathing in through the nose, he also felt fresher. What happened? I finally found you. Whipping his head around, he stood face to face with Yumino Irika, one of his teachers. Yo, Irika-sensei. What do you think you're doing with that scroll? That's the Forbidden Scroll, Naruto. You're not allowed to even touch it. Naruto's enthusiastic look changed to a stupefied one. What? But Mizuki-sensei told me if I could learn a jutsu from this scroll I would become instant genin. He said so. Mizuki? Irika clenched his fists and guarded Naruto all of a sudden. He lied to you, Naruto. Here his gaze hardened as he stared up to one particular tree. Didn't you, Mizuki? Of course I did. With a shunshin, the gray-haired Chunin appeared in front of them. This demon brat is such a fool, falling for a trick like this so easily. I can't believe everyone in this village is afraid of the little moron. Afraid? Don't listen to him, Naruto. Mizuki shook his head at his colleague. Don't stand in my way, Irika. You know who the better shinobi is between the two of us. Don't make me kill you. What are you? Mizuki, what the hell? What's going on? Irika was at loss for words. I am working for an enemy of the leaf. He wants that. He pointed to the scroll on the ground near Naruto. It is always highly guarded, but somehow the Hokage is always soft on the Kyuubi brat. I figured he'd be able to get his hands on it. Now, die. Suddenly, a huge shuriken ripped through Irika's clothing from behind and pierced him deeply in the back. The Mizuki in front of them vanished, clearly being a bunshin. As Irika fell to the ground, Naruto was completely shocked. Kyuubi brat? The real Mizuki landed with both feet on Irika's back and ignored the pained shriek that followed and instead faced Naruto. He ruthlessly ripped the shuriken from Irika's back, eliciting yet another scream of pain from Irika. Yeah, you're Kyuubi. You never wondered why everyone in the village hates your guts. Why you have no friends. It's because you're the Kyuubi. What? Don't listen to him, Naruto. You're not the Q. Irika got cut off as Mizuki harshly stomped on the wound on Irika's back. Shut up or this shuriken's gonna tear your head off, weak trash. With a mad high chuckle, he turned back to Naruto. You're not supposed to be alive, demon boy. The Kyuubi couldn't be killed in any normal way, so the fourth Hokage had to seal it into a newborn baby. That was you. The baby was supposed to die and take the Kyuubi with it to the afterlife. But yeah, like the scum that you survived, keeping the Kyuubi alive inside of you. That's why everyone hates you, you little shit. Naruto had turned completely catatonic and missed the dark chuckle from inside of him. And then, without warning, the blonde boy screamed. Mizuki, still standing on Irika's back, flinched at the sudden scream. After a short second or two, Mizuki snapped out of it and frowned at the screaming boy in front of him. Looks like he lost it. What a useless existence you are. Mizuki moved to slap Naruto out of screaming like a madman, and as soon as he did, he wanted to scream, really he did. But he couldn't. As soon as Mizuki touched Naruto's cheek with his hand, to slap him out of his funk, something out of this world happened. It felt like got the life drained out of him. He couldn't take his hand back, because as soon as he touched Naruto, the blonde boy had grabbed his arm. The moment he touched him, Mizuki felt extremely weak and he could feel himself turning tired very rapidly. He managed to take a look at the hand was still on Naruto's cheek and was shocked to see it had turned really old. And then, there was darkness. Mizuki had died of old age. As the gray-haired Chunin withered to almost nothing to the ground, Naruto was still so angry and shocked. That was when the Anbu appeared, with the third Hokage in tow. Naruto! Naruto! What happened here? It was then that Naruto noticed that Irika, underneath Mizuki, as the traitor had been standing on him, had died as well. Also from old age. How very interesting. Who would have guessed that this Uzumaki child had Otsutsuki blood? And his ability to think Hamura's dark skill would ever resurface. This human will become a true menace to this world. This means the return of the Black Apple. The Kyuubi actually laughed out loud as in the real world, Naruto fainted from shock. It is an honor to be sealed into a direct descendant of the Otsutsuki. If ever I feared anyone besides Kage Otsutsuki, it was definitely her dark son, Hamura Otsutsuki. Even father had trouble dealing with his brother. Outside of Naruto's mindscape, Sarutobi Hiruzen didn't know what to make of the situation. Two Konoha Chunin were dead and had apparently turned very old in a very short amount of time. He never heard of a jutsu like this. Did Naruto somehow have the ability to make people older and then die of old age? Crouching down near the two corpses, Hiruzen instantly noticed that the ground around them was also drained of life. I don't know what to say, Hokage-sama. As soon as I enter his mind, there is only darkness. There is nothing to see. No memories, no dreams, no ambitions or anything regarding his past. There is nothing. It's like he's completely empty. Yamanaka Inoichi, Konoha's best mindwalker, seemed completely fine after disconnecting from Naruto's mind. After the Forbidden Scroll incident, Naruto was moved to the hospital. Today would make it day 2 in the hospital. To be honest, I was afraid of catching a glimpse or even encountering the Kyuubi, but there was nothing. I've never seen this before, Hokage-sama. Even brain-dead shinobi have more to show inside. And yet, he's perfectly fine. The aging fire leader let out. His health is outstanding, or so say the nurses. He's suffering from severe chakra exhaustion, which is rather unlikely for a Jinchuriki. What will you do with him now? You told me he knows he killed both Mizuki and Irika-san. Yes, although I know it was all in self-defense. I'd been watching, after all. His brow furrowed. But the all-viewing orb hasn't shown me enough. All I saw was Mizuki moving to hit Naruto in the face. The hit never really connected. Could it have been the Kyuubi? No. We would have surely sensed it. I had 3 of the highest capable sensor nin with me. They say there wasn't even chakra used. Hiruzen sighed like a very old man. I'll make him genin. My plan was for him to learn the Kage Bunshin from the scroll, but I watched him put his hand on something and then that sudden explosion of chakra. I have no idea what happened. And the scroll? I've managed to pin it down to awakening of the dormant. But Naruto's parents are Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. The only Kekkei Genkai he could possibly have is more of a trait than an ability. The Uzumaki longevity. I never would have guessed the ability backfired like this. It'll take a while for me to figure things out for him. Hamura never had a bijou inside of him, I couldn't possibly imagine how hard it was for him to cope. At least I can heal and organize, Hamura had no one. Naruto's mind was blasted by images of both Irika's and Mizuki's entire lives. Their memories became his memory, while he also retained his original. It is no wonder Hamura turned to the dark soon after they sealed their mother. I always did wonder how he was always so knowledgeable. Ugh! The Kyuubi looked down on the small human form lying in front of his cage. It seems he has the healing capacity of the Otsutsuki. I figured he would stay comatose for another week, taking my own influence on him in account even. That weird technique from that scroll really did wonders for my Jinchuriki. The bijou narrowed his eyes at the waking human. His might just exceed my own. Who are you? I heard you talking. You may call me Kurama. Kurama? Otherwise known as the Kyuubi. The Kyuubi. By now, Naruto was standing up and pointing. You're the reason everyone hates me. I am also the reason you still live. Exactly. We both should have died. Silly human. That human was lying. A bijou like me can never die. And if you play your cards right, neither can you. What are you talking about? You have the blood of an ancient legend, Naruto. I know a few things about the ability you have. I will teach you. What the hell are you talking about? You're the Kyuubi. The blonde started looking around. Wah! Where the hell am I? This is a creepy place. The inside of you mind. It is quite the abyss at the moment. After what you did, things have changed here. The only one who can see things in here as of now are its owner. Or in your case, since I'm sealed inside of you, owners. You are talking gibberish, Kyuubi. Call me Kurama. It is my given name. Kyuubi simply means 9 tails. It is not a name. Naruto pinched himself. I must be dreaming. The Kyuubi is actually talking to me. Kurama cursed as Naruto slowly vanished from his view. That's bad. As soon as he wakes up in the real world, the memories of those 2 humans will bombard him into submission. The giant fox then shrugged. But it's also good, he'll come back here and then he'll be easier to talk to. Mizuki. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. I will do as you say. Irika. So that's the Kyuubi kid, huh? Doesn't really look like a real threat to me. But I'll keep my distance just the same. Mizuki. Congratulations, Irika. We're both chunin, can you believe it? Irika. Perform the henge, Naruto. Geez, and this kid is supposed to be all dangerous? He can't even transform. Mizuki. Sasuke is top of the class, as you predicted. I can take him out of Konoha and to you, if you want. Don't be a fool, Mizuki. You're still too weak. I will give you power soon, more power. Erika. No, you idiot, you didn't find me. I found you. Quit skipping class. Naruto screamed as loud as he could as he just didn't know who he was. The third was standing by his bed and quickly held his hand, but it did nothing to assuage the situation. Naruto. Naruto. But Naruto was already succumbing to the unconsciousness. I am. Naruto. Was the last thing the third heard. Welcome back, Naruto. What's going on with me? Who am I? I am. Naruto. Or Mizuki. Erika. Erika-sensei. Mizuki-sensei. Naruto. The demon brat. Kurama watched as Naruto fell to his knees, grabbing his head in desperation. Who am I? Calm down. But he couldn't. He kept talking to himself. Am I the demon brat? I am Erika. Kurama released a massive amount of killer intent to scare the confusion out of the blonde. It took a few seconds, but Naruto finally managed to look up to Kurama. Kurama, right? The Kyuubi. This means I must be the demon brat. Calm down. After observing the human and contemplating on whether telling the boy everything would be too much, Kurama decided he didn't really care much for the human psyche. He could fix it anyway. Probably. Maybe. Listen to me very carefully. You are Uzumaki Naruto. When you poured chakra into that sealed Fuuin jutsu in the Forbidden Scroll, you have awakened your Kekkei Genkai. With a small blast of chakra, Kyuubi quickly stopped Naruto from talking. Don't interrupt me, Naruto. Your bloodline limit is one only seen once before in this world. In one man. The twin brother of the Sage of the Six Paths. Kurama regarded Naruto in a very serious light and hesitated in continuing, before he nodded to himself and decided. I know everything you know, Naruto. I believe it is also time for you to know everything I know. And thus Kurama told him about the Sage of the Six Paths, of Kage Otsutsuki and her two sons, of Hagoromo and his two sons, of Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, of the creation of the shinobi countries and villages. And of his parents, Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. He didn't tell Naruto how cursed the power that was bestowed upon him was. Just like with Hamura, it might just kill the brightness inside Naruto. No, some things were better left unsaid. This fragile old man shouldn't be Hokage. Mizuki. Memories, visions, opinions, experiences. If only the Yandere Hokage hadn't sacrificed himself, Erika. Thanks to Kurama, Naruto could now at least differentiate between memories he was blasted with as soon as he came face to face with someone. It still felt as if he was thinking these things, as if he lived through these memories. It was still so, everything was still so confusing. You're lucky I am sealed inside of you. Without me, you would be completely lost now. Of course, eventually, your mind would be able to comprehend, but I just sped up the process. Human minds are inferior to ours, you see. At the moment, Naruto was seated in front of Hiruzen's desk. Just like with every other person, Naruto was bombarded with images in his head regarding the person he was facing. Memories of how Mizuki and Erika had interacted with the aging leader of fire. And also with how Erika and Mizuki regarded the third. It seemed like a sneaky way of information gathering. Do you feel any different, Naruto-kun? Of course, he did. He had completely absorbed the essences of Erika and Mizuki. He could even perform every technique they held in their arsenal. But Kurama advised him not to share this certain fact with anyone. He could understand why this was important. Old man. I killed Erika-sensei. The third narrowed his eyes gently here. While it is true Yumino Erika-san has passed away, I think you are hardly to blame. While being 12 years old, Naruto could somehow understand words spoken to him with a lot more ease. This obviously because of the recent absorption of 2 adult humans. I don't understand, Gigi. They just. Mizuki-sensei, he. Naruto paused as he tried to gather the right words. He tried to kill me, old man. The blonde watched his leader nod his head understandingly. I know, Naruto-kun. Then. He dropped his head. I don't know what happened. He mumbled. Self-defense is what happened, Naruto-kun. However, your self-defense was quite extreme. Unfortunately, it swept Irika-san along. My self-defense, extreme? What? I don't even remember what happened. The boy rose from his seat. What did I do, old man? Mizuki-sensei said I was the Kyuubi. You seem proficient in the art of deception already, human. Kurama rumbled from inside. You're not the Kyuubi, Naruto. The demon is sealed inside of you, that's it. You're Uzumaki Naruto. The fire leader roared, also getting up from his seat. I am also the son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, but I'm not supposed to know this, huh? Naruto glared at his leader defiantly, but soon dropped his head again. I don't know what to do, Gigi. You looked into the forbidden scroll, Naruto-kun. What did you learn? I just poured chakra into some weird part somewhere. At first there was an explosion of chakra, but, after that, I didn't seem any different. Let me tell you something, Naruto-kun. Pay attention. Naruto's head shot up. The only thing you did was touch Mizuki. Apparently, just a simple touch is enough to make someone else die of old age. This ability is completely unheard of. Since Irika-san was touching Mizuki, and thus indirectly you, he was met with the same fate. Your touch is very dangerous, and we don't know if it's only just coming for your hands. But for now. The third opened a drawer from his desk. Naruto caught the dark green gloves the third threw at him. Those are chakra-constricting gloves, Naruto-kun. They stop the flow of chakra only for the one who wears them. They're unnecessary, no chakra is involved in the drain. You can control your own ability. It's a simple matter of need or no need. Kurama informed him. Just a simple touch is enough to drain anyone, and not just from your hands. Dark green, huh? I kinda like the color. Naruto grinned weakly as he put them on. Gigi, what happens now? Sarutobi Hiruzen narrowed his eyes, and a challenging smile formed on his face. Perform the bunshin, Naruto-kun. He was bombarded with knowledge from both Mizuki and Irika. The bunshin was nothing now. Hiruzen narrowed his eyes at how easily the boy now performed the bunshin. The jutsu the boy before had the most trouble with. Interesting, that was perfect, Naruto-kun. I don't understand. Naruto pretended as he took a look at his deranked illusion. How? Henge, Naruto-kun. With a flash, the bunshin changed into an anbu. Hiruzen immediately recognized this anbu to be Tenzu. He was there when Naruto killed Mizuki. Perfect as well. Now, the kawarimi. It was quick, but Naruto had easily switched places with a plant in the corner of the room. Hiruzen smiled unsurely. Well, I guess that qualifies you as genin, Naruto-kun. But the old man was sure he would keep an eye on Naruto. This sudden mastery of the 3 basics seemed very suspicious. And he already had an idea on how this was possible. I am unaware of the specifics, but you hold the ability to drain others of their entirety. My father and his twin brother are the 2 eldest sons of Kage Otsutsuki. My father's name was Hagoromo Otsutsuki and his twin brother was called Hamura Otsutsuki. They had amazing abilities. My father had the Rinnegan, while his brother had the Byakugan. When it came to Dojutsu, my father clearly was the better of the 2. But when it came to other skills, Hamura was better. Both held similar abilities, like the ability of creation and flight. But where my father had control over life, Hamura held the ability of death, as you have already experienced. When I touch someone, I get their everything. Just about, but you receive their chakra permanently. This will make you a very powerful human. You gain their knowledge and their presence. But I don't believe you will be able to drain Kekkei Genkai. A normal human would go insane, but Hamura was no normal human and neither are you. Kurama closed his eyes. Even when I and the other bijou teamed up with father and fought against Hamura, we always seemed to be losing. What happened to their mother, this Kaguya? She went crazy and wanted to kill my father and Hamura. In her eyes, they had stolen a lot of her chakra. Seeing no other way, the two brothers were forced to work together to defeat their mother. Hamura, at this stage, was still pure. But after having absorbed so many other humans, it was inevitable. He went down a different path than father. After they defeated Kaguya, my father's new enemy was his own brother. You see, Hamura wanted to change the world and make it one. After having absorbed so many lives, he went mad due to all those different perspectives. But the same thing will happen to me, then? No. Because unlike you, Hamura didn't have a bijou sealed inside of him. I am inside you, in your mind. I can organize your thoughts. Right now, it's still very confusing since I have but limited access. I need more. All you have to do to prevent from going mad is... Naruto narrowed his eyes. Open this gate and allow us to become true partners. As Naruto slowly strolled towards a training ground the old man told him to go to, he couldn't help but whistle a jovial tune. He also opted to go about differently when it came to his clothing. He had his hands in the pockets of his dark green trunks as he looked at himself. He wore a gray short-sleeved hoodie with an open sleeveless thin, dark green jacket covering it. His gloves were dark green as well. His sandals weren't any different, just black ones, his socks were gray. His sleeveless jacket had pockets similar to those of a jonin uniform. His hitayate was gone, the metal was sewed on the wrist part of the glove of his right hand. He was thinking about getting some glasses, because it seemed as if his eyes were turning lighter by the day. Kurama had an idea about that, though. Now that they were true partners, Naruto felt like a totally different person. Confidence oozed off of him and he felt like he could take on the entire world more than once a day. Kurama had explained to him what being true partners meant. Their chakra, his and Kurama's, they would no longer be clashing constantly. So he could start working on his chakra control earnestly, without feeling completely hopeless about it. Him and the Kyuubi had found out about another thing, though. Yumino Irika was a censor nin. It made sense, as it was always Irika who found him when he was skipping class. And thinking back, he remembered how Irika located Mizuki so easily, that night. But now Naruto was also a censor nin. And the greatest part was... since he remembers what Irika remembers, it came as second nature. He could sense a whole lot shinobi around him as he walked through Konoha. It was weird, but with the way he felt, it didn't really feel like Mizuki or Irika died. It was more like they just started living inside of him. Of course, he still felt horrible about Irika's death. Kurama was being a really great help when it came to the sudden memory blasts, insight and opinion moments. Those would only make it even more painful. He suddenly felt a shinobi approaching in high speed and easily noticed how it stopped in a tree about 20 meters to his left. Clearly, this shinobi was observing him. Could it be Anbu? This guy has a decent amount of chakra. Irika's insight told him this guy was definitely a jonin. Most likely this is your new teacher. That old human told you you were going to be tested, right? Yeah, to get into a team of 3 genin and a jonin as instructor. I wonder who my teammates will be. In the tree, Kakashi had definitely noticed that Naruto had noticed him. The boys got good instincts. If important, I will simply allow them to pass. It is important for your growth and maturity. Kurama had told him this before. Somehow, he wished he didn't see what came next. Arika. Nah, Arika-sensei. Haruno Sakura, aged 10. Why is he even in our class? He's only goofing around all the time and he's too stupid to understand anything. I like it when he's not here, I like it better when he skips class. Everyone is entitled to the same amount of tutelage, Sakura-chan. Naruto is just difficult. Difficult? The pink-haired girl snorted. He's annoying, loud and hopeless. I mean, look at Sasuke-kun. Mizuki. Hey, Sasuke-kun. Mizuki-sensei. You're going to be paired with Naruto for a spar tomorrow. Think you can take him? That loser? Even a dead infant could take him down. He's a worthless fool. Don't be so harsh, Sasuke-kun. He might just surprise you. The truth is always harsh. We don't live in dreams, that dead-last loser does. Naruto shot his eyes in frustration and emotional pain. Those two memory blasts hit him as soon as he saw his future two teammates. Haruno Sakura and Uchiha Sasuke. He quickly memorized the way their chakra felt for later use and approached them. Grow up, Naruto. Don't dote after people like a useless mongrel. Naruto understood. He completely understood what Kurama meant with those words. These two never really liked him. In fact, they downright hated him. Naruto barely held back a glare as they were about to notice his approach. They are nothing but trash. Kurama didn't like the wording much, but it was at least a step into a better direction. The bijou would make sure Naruto wouldn't turn too destructive. For his standards, anyway. Ha! What are you doing here? Didn't you fail? Naruto considered the pink-haired girl with a dead stare, ignored her and offered the same stare to Sasuke for the same amount of time. A split second. Then he walked over to a vacant spot near a tree, dropped himself down and leaned against it. Don't ignore me. Why are you here? Ichin. So you're our third teammate? Sasuke answered Sakura's question easily. Useless. The Uchiha was not pleased at all. A weak fangirl and the dead last? Fucking fantastic. How can you be our third teammate? You didn't even pass the test. You can't even perform the bunshin. Sasuke ignored Sakura as well and chose another tree to lean against. At least the dead last stays quiet. That's the first time I've seen him do something useful. Sasuke-kun. The girl watched as both boys closed their eyes and ignored her. Ah, don't ignore me, Naruto. Yo! She shrieked like a wet cat. Naruto and Sasuke both opened their eyes to see a gray-haired jonin standing near Sakura all of a sudden. Name's Hatake Kakashi. I will be testing you on whether you have the skills needed to be genin. If you have the necessary talent, we'll do introductions. If you don't, I don't need to know anything about you, so... With that, he produced 2 bells from his pocket and dangled them in front of the 3 fresh genin. 2 bells. If you can snatch one, you will be genin. No rules, you have 2 hours. Sasuke instantly vanished. Sakura blinked, but soon followed suit. Naruto, however, got bombarded with sudden knowledge from Irika. Irika. The Yandame's Bell Test. It's a test on teamwork. It tests whether you can rely on and work with people you've never worked with before. It's convenient, isn't it? This Irika human has a vast amount of knowledge of Konoha's inner workings. You should choose well on who you absorb next time. A high-ranked shinobi seems wise. 2 bells, ha! Naruto muttered as he rose from his position. Doesn't it seem a bit too obvious? Kakashi-sensei. Here, Naruto dryly winked and slowly walked away from the jonin. 2 hours, ha! I'll show you. Those 2. They will never work with me. Kakashi's eyes narrowed dangerously. He knows the purpose of this test in just under 5 seconds. As the blonde Jinchuriki slowly walked through the shadows of trees, he couldn't help but wonder about it. I'll be genin if I work alongside those two. Those two who hate my guts. Why would I want teammates who hate my guts? No. No, I'm not going to be a fool anymore. I want teammates who will watch my back. Screw those two. For the next 2 hours, I'm gonna sleep. Without me cooperating, they will fail as well. He snorted shortly. They deserve to fail. Maybe someday I'll find teammates who don't hate me. Ha! A wise decision. You need competent people around you. Competent people who want to watch your back. You're right, Kurama. I'm just gonna sit this one out. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this what if and want to see next part of it, comment down below and let me know. Also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Peace.